The biggest bully on the playground has always been the rhino. Even though their numbers have been dwindling, this species knows how to protect itself. 30 million years ago, rhinos used to be over 16 feet tall. But now, they're just a fraction of their original height. Despite shrinking in size, they've taken the animal world by storm. They've been known to fight not just regular buffaloes, but even fearsome lions. And of course, if there's anyone they're always ready to fight, it's humans. You'll have to watch till the end for that though. Here are 12 times rhinos took it to their enemies. Number 12. Rhino versus elephant. When rhinos are compared to the biggest land mammals, they seem like nothing. But on the other hand, the elephant can carry up to 7 tons and has about 150,000 muscle units just in its trunk. Other than that, their intelligence makes them extra defensive about their family and habitat. This unfortunate rhino and calf encountered a watering hole that belonged to the elephants and were kicked out in the most violent way possible. While the rhino was just trying to protect the calf, it ended up tripping and falling. In the end, they had to leave the elephant's territory. Number 11. Rhino and buffalo wrestle each other. A rhino's horn is clearly attractive to humans, but it has some serious purpose other than aesthetics. Rhinos use them to defend against other enemies, or simply challenge other rhinos for dominance. Since they're mainly made of keratin, their horns are extremely strong and durable. Mother Nature went all out on these horns, since they also contain melanin, which protects the core from breaking down due to UV rays of the sun. This rhino and buffalo were found in a squabble. The rhino seems to have the upper hand as it pushes the buffalo down, but the buffalo has reached its limit and finally rams into the rhino before running away. Number 10. Rhino Flips Car like a toy. Rhinos may have awful eyesight, but they have a very powerful sense of smell and hearing, so sometimes they charge at objects that look unfamiliar, such as trees and rocks. But other times, what usually happens is that they mistake a car's odd sounds as danger and charge right at it, without even knowing if there's someone inside. This startled rhino mistakes a car for a giant animal encroaching on its territory and instantly goes in for the attack. It absolutely smashes it by flipping it over and over. Somehow, the driver inside still survived. Number 9. Rhino versus Warthog. Warthogs are one of the fiercest fighters in the animal kingdom, and they can afford to do so thanks to their sharp canine teeth at the bottom. The ones at the top aren't of much use other than digging, but the bottom ones are for fighting rivals and defending from predators. In front of a rhino, these warthogs look like tiny ants, which is why they don't provoke a fight. Instead, one of them tries to eat some of the rhino's food and ends up flying 5 feet into the air. No warning given. Number 8. Rhino smashes tourist car. The black rhino of Africa is one of the most aggressive animals known, leaving even hippos behind. Since they're loners, they like to randomly round their territory undisturbed and free. Most females only attack when a potential predator is about to harm their calf or is getting dangerously close. The only time a rhino will attack a human is if it's invading its space, like this tourist car that ignored the charging rhino towards them. The rhino rams right into the body of the car, shaking it from the ground up. The terrified tourists couldn't even drive away because of how shocked and scared they were. Number 7. Rhinos brawl to death in water. A rhino's aggressiveness isn't enough to show dominance. Sometimes the alpha males spray urine to a distance of over 16 feet. On top of that, they only do this when other males or fertile females are around. The primary purpose is to mark their territory and tell all the other females that they're ready to mingle. These rhinos didn't choose to do any of that. Instead, they went after each other. Since one of them had a limp, it was at a disadvantage. After pushing each other around like a yo-yo, the one with a bad limp decided to leave the territory. Number 6. Rhino vs. Lions. It might come as a surprise that lions are actually the natural predators of rhinos. They don't usually go for adults, but the weak, injured, and young are often a primary target for lionesses. These lions find it impossible to maneuver a giant rhino. In fact, the rhino quickly chases away both the lions, scaring them enough to rethink any future attacks. Now we know why lions don't go after adult rhinos. Number 5. Rhino flips buffalo over. Being one of the strongest animals on land has its own advantages for sure. The rhinoceros can weigh in at 3 tons and reach speeds of more than 30 miles per hour. To put that into perspective, the world's fastest humans can only run at a rate of 28 miles per hour, and that too for only 100 meters. Both their weight and speed combined make rhinos a juggernaut of a predator, capable of not only wrestling these buffaloes, but also flipping them over upside down simply using their horns. It's a surprise to see that the buffalo even survived this encounter. Number 4. Rhinos fight for dominance. Rhinos aren't as aggressive about their territory as they are about finding a mate. As soon as they notice that a female is receptive, the fight for dominance begins. After the two males wrestle and brutally injure each other, the one that turned out to be the worthy male approaches the female only when she starts the courtship ritual. These two robust males are seen brawling with each other for dominance. One of them has quite a serious injury on its belly and leg. The injured rhino is lethargic and barely defending itself. The winner is quite evident here. Number 3. Rhino vs. Tiger. Rhinos in the big cat family don't have a good relationship. That's because rhinos are an easy hunt for a tiger since they're easier to chase than a deer. However, they don't enjoy rhino meat much, but they will eat it if it's been killed. Here, the rhino was spending some time in the swamp when a tiger was seen in the same spot as the huge rhino. Before the rhino even attacks, the tiger runs away from it to avoid any conflict. Number 2. Rhino vs. Hippo. Forget sharks, it's hippos that cause about 500 to 3,000 fatalities each year. Their ferocious jaws and uniquely sharp teeth can dissect a human in half in just one bite. If that wasn't enough, they're practically bulletproof since their skin is about 2 inches thick. These highly territorial creatures don't mingle well with others, especially rhinos. So the hippo can be seen opening its jaw to intimidate the timid rhino. And then 2 hippos end up biting the underbelly of the rhino, which is already a sensitive part. Number 1. Rhino vs. Human. Humans and rhinos have a very disturbing relationship, especially because humans have been killing rhinos brutally to harvest their horns to sell on the black market. The horns are primarily used in traditional Chinese medicine and even as ornamental carvings. These rhinos, who were keeping to themselves, were approached by a human that got a little too close. Instead of moving away, the rhinos lifted the human up with their horn and threw her on the ground, and then proceeded to move away from them, which was enough to signify that they like to be left alone. Alright, comment down below which of these rhino battles shocked you the most. If you haven't yet, make sure you like the video and subscribe to Wildly for more. See you in the next one.